Kyle Shanahan sort of buried the lead last night. They lost to the Rams. Of course, he fully understood how good the Rams were going to be. He wasn't surprised by the result, wanted to win. After the game, was asked if Brock Purdy was ready to be the backup in this game. And Kyle Shanahan said he could have gone, definitely. I just decided to hold him and not put him in that situation. Situation is one of the worst words in the English language, but in this example context, it's the most interesting word that Kyle Shanahan used last night. What did he mean by that situation, and how do you take what he said?
Okay, we can only speculate what he meant by that situation, but let's let our imaginations run wild. He could have meant we were going to get our ass kicked anyway by the Rams. I wouldn't want to bring my golden boy back because he would have gotten his ass kicked. So let the other guy get his ass kicked, and then I can make a seamless transition to Brock Purdy from Mac Jones. That's what it sounds like to me. What does this sound like to you, Iggy?
Yeah, it sound like he said, look, I mean, we beat the Rams once. That was incredible, but they're better than us, and we know that. And not only are they better than us, they have a really good defensive line and a really good pass rush. And, quarterback could get hurt. Not only could he go out there and look bad against the Rams, who have a great defense, he could get re-injured. So instead of risking Brock, let's throw Mac out there one more time. And if Mac loses, then that makes it a little bit less awkward when we bench him and go back to Brock Purdy. It'd be really hard to go to Brock Purdy after Mac Jones won a big game.
Yeah, but Kyle has a problem. Mac Jones did not win the big game, but he played great.
Yeah.
Iggy, I don't see Brock Purdy doing any better in that game. I see him doing worse, but I don't see him. I mean, Iggy, the guy threw 3 touchdown passes. His passer rating was 115. He completed 85% of his passes, and he threw for 319 yards.
Mm-hmm.
He in no way contributed to the loss. In no way.
Yeah.
In fact, if he had not played that way, the score would have been worse.
Yeah, and now it seems like you're benching him after his best game against a really good team. And what's interesting about what Kyle Shanahan said, it sounds like he benched Brock. Again, just taking him at face value with what he said, Brock could have played against the Rams, but Kyle chose not to play him. So you have a healthy franchise quarterback who was a scratch because it was a bad matchup, and it might have hurt his stats or win-loss record, or who knows.
Yeah. And also, I guess he's implying that when Purdy comes back, we'll be a better team. Isn't that part of it? Iggy, they're not going to be a better team when Brock comes back. Brock's a very good quarterback. I'm not putting him down. I happen to prefer Mac Jones. But Iggy, I think they're in the same grouping as quarterbacks. They have different skills, but I think they're in the same grouping. They're not going to be a better team when the other guy comes back. They might be a worse team because he's rusty, because he throws picks. He's not as decisive anymore as Mac Jones is. And I'm going to say one other thing. I watched and read a lot of things after the game yesterday. And a lot of the discussion was who should be the quarterback going forward. And clearly that was part of the discussion that Kyle enabled. It's a distraction.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the issue on this team.
Yeah.
You could have Johnny Unitas playing for this team. You could have Joe Montana playing for this team. This is not a team that's going to beat really good clubs.
Yeah.
So talking about the quarterbacks is letting Kyle, Salah, Jed, and the whole organization off the hook. The organization is responsible for now. They had a 6-3 record, but they seemed weak at 6-3. Now they're 6-4, and they seem weak. I'm getting a little feedback here. They seem weak to me. They seem weak to me at 6-4. There are so many issues, a lot of them on defense, but also on offense. So sure, we need to talk about this because of what Kyle said after the game yesterday, but it's a distraction from the real issues that are going on, which are much more significant than who's the quarterback.
Yeah, it's whether or not they feel this way, the optics of potentially benching Mac Jones after that loss means that, yeah, Mac was good and his numbers were good, but Brock just gives the team a little certain je ne sais quoi that we can't put our finger on. And just having him back in the huddle, his presence alone will energize everyone. And that's going to be the shot in the arm that this team needs. Forget trading for someone at the deadline. Brock is the trade. He's the big acquisition. He's going to come back and save him. But it's like in this game, if you were listing the people least responsible for the loss, Mac Jones would be in the group of people least responsible for the loss.
He played beautifully.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, had he not been playing, it would have been worse. He at least made it semi-respectable. Without him, they're the New York Jets yesterday.
That's right.
Or the Giants, who just got their coach fired.
I like the Jets because that's where Robert Saleh came from, and he brought like half of the team with him.
Got it. Without him yesterday, they're the Jets.
Yeah, that's a sobering thought.
Yeah, and I want to also say, when I was in press boxes, of course, I never listened to the TV guys because it's quiet in there. You don't play the sound. But Brady, who is among the better analysts, they all suck, football analysts, but he's among the better ones. He was a great quarterback. He kept praising Mac Jones.
Yeah.
I didn't hear him say, oh, they'd be better with Purdy. He was really impressed.
Yeah. And like the reason you got to go back to Brock, apparently, is because you paid him.
Yeah.
But that's not a football decision. That's a business decision. And it's funny to have Tom Brady talk about it because he was asked before the game, hey, what should the Niners do? And he's like, well, you asking me? I'm going to say go with the hot hand. My whole career was created because Bill Belichick went with the hot hand. I mean, if you go back and look, they had just signed Drew Bledsoe to, I think, a 10-year extension, which was unprecedented. And then he gets hurt, and Tom Brady plays, and he keeps winning. And Belichick's like, you know what? I like Drew Bledsoe. Good quarterback. We're going to stick with this Tom Brady guy. It seems to be working. And the rest is history. Why would you not do that? Who cares who you paid? I mean, the Niners did the same thing with Trey Lance, essentially, right? You didn't pay him, but you gave up a lot to get him. You realized that he wasn't the best quarterback for you, and you figured out a way to change. You did it already.
Yeah. Iggy, there's one other thing I don't like about this situation. It sounds like he's scapegoating Mac for the loss.
Yep.
I don't like it. It's not fair.
Yeah.
It's not fair. He didn't do anything wrong. He threw the one pick. That was late in the game, and it was fourth down. It was, what the hell? It was a what the hell throw. Otherwise, I want to say, I'm going to use an adjective. His play yesterday was gorgeous.
Yeah. And there's something else about Mac that I really respect. He's so freaking tough. He's a warrior. He would die on the field. He's not coming off the field. I really like that. And I'm not contrasting him to Purdy and saying that Purdy isn't tough, but it's nice to have a quarterback who can play that well when he's not 100% healthy, Mac Jones, but he's playing really well. Brock Purdy, when he's not 100% healthy, you can freaking tell. So,
Iggy, we're not saying that Brock Purdy isn't tough, but I'll make a declarative statement. He's not as tough as Mac Jones.
He's hurt a lot. Mac Jones, I don't know. He's on the field.
Yeah. He's really tough. And what you said, he would die on the field to play. I'm a boxing guy, and I've thought about this a lot. One of the things about Muhammad Ali, perhaps the greatest heavyweight who ever lived, he would die in the ring to win. He would die in the ring to win. That was one of his qualities. Mac has that. He's not at the level of Muhammad Ali, of course not, but he has that die on the field quality. And
to me, it's funny when you talk about, when you compare like skill sets, a lot of people will say, Mac, hell of a story. He's just limited compared to Brock because Brock has all this mobility and stuff. But I think that toughness, that warrior quality is an ability as well, and it trumps everything. It's the most important quality from a quarterback, and Mac Jones absolutely has it, and I didn't realize he had it until I started watching him on the Niners.
Yeah, and also, he's not as quick as the other guy, but he gets the ball out quicker. He's not a guy who gets sacked a lot. He's very efficient, Iggy. He's
Yeah.
very efficient, and he's very accurate.
Yeah. He's
Yeah.
the best passer they've had since Jeff Garcia. When the
He's
ball
a-
leaves his hands, I'm always convinced it's going exactly where he wanted it to go.
He's more accurate than Brock.
He's more accurate than Brock. He was more accurate than Jimmy ever was.
Oh,
There's like an effortlessness with the way he throws.
yeah, he's really something. And
Yeah.
you see why he was taken in the first round.
Yeah. And it's a cool story too. Like, he was a first round pick, but he was completely written off. They got him off the scrap heap. He was a backup last year in Jacksonville. He might be better than that Trevor Lawrence guy that he was backing up last year. He might be better than Brock Purdy. The two of us think that. And
Yeah.
so far, he's on the verge of getting benched after the best game of his career. It's an incredible story. And he's not done. He's going to be a starter somewhere next year, most likely.
And the thing about it, again, I admire, because I don't have this quality. He's been knocked down so much, and people have said to him, no, no, no. He's never lost his belief in himself or his good nature. He's not a guy who comes in sullen, pissed. He seems remarkably buoyant.
That's why I like
admire
him so
that.
much.
I'm not like that.
I feel like I can be like that sometimes. I got knocked down a lot in my 20s in my career and got back up and believed in myself, and it paid off. And so it's nice to, not that I'm him, but I do relate to him a little bit. He's relatable.
I like what he's saying. He's like a guy. He's like,
Yeah.
you could imagine going and having dinner with him and having a really nice time.
Yeah, and cracking jokes and not talking about him the whole time or me the
Right.
whole time, but like whatever's going on, like a normal person.